Coach, congratulations to you. You mentioned in the pregame interview that you wanted your team to come out and rebound the basketball, take care of the basketball. So, your thoughts on how your team responded to the things that you wanted them to do that led to victory?
Well, first of all, thanks, Jason. I thought they responded very well to that. I don't have a stat sheet in front of me. We don't have that, but I complimented our team on committing to rebounding the ball on both ends and guarding the ball. I thought we guarded the ball better. I thought there were some lapses there in the second half where we let them get downhill on us and we made some adjustments. But I thought the two areas that we needed to really be solid in to win this game, we were our rebounding, and I thought we guarded the ball better. So I'm really proud of their efforts across the board with that. We're still not where we need to be, but we're getting better.
And obviously, Jessica Carter was the big star in the game. What was she doing out there that was working for her?
Well, she started getting deep in the paint. When I took this job, I told our team I want to play inside out. I wanted to be a team that people had to be aware of our ability to get in the paint, whether it's post touches or paint drives. And I think we're one of the top teams in the country in doing that. When Jessica and Yamaya and Sid, when they're on, we want to feed them and we want to play off of them. But when she stopped posting up at the SEC and started getting 2 feet in the paint in the semicircle, things started happening for her, and we need her to do that consistently.
Up next, we'll go to Robbie Falk.
Coach, you discussed what Jess was able to do, especially in the paint, but just not a ton of offensive production from the rest of the players in the second half, and maybe the zone had something to do with that. But what did you feel like was the biggest issue in the second half with those stagnant possessions, especially in the fourth quarter? It took a while for your offense to get going.
Well, I think one of the things that I wanted was to get the ball inside, and I told our team I didn't want them to not shoot the ball, but I wanted us to get more ball reversals, so we were not taking quick shots. We didn't have Aaliyah Mathara on the floor. She's been playing well of late. She's someone that is emerging into a third consistent threat for us. So she was not on the floor. And then I do think the zone stifle us. We knew that they were going to play it. I mean, they played it a little bit more the second half, and I thought it made us really passive. We were small on the perimeter, so we couldn't really see what we wanted to see. But we'll work it and we'll be better at it. I just told our kids we're great shooters. They got the green light to shoot it when they're open. Just got to knock them down.
You mentioned Aaliyah, and she came back in the game in the second half. Does she look okay? Do you feel like everything's good with her?
I think she's going to be okay. It was, really to give Jemiah a breather. Just wanted to make sure she could get some confidence going in rather than her not, having played and us not knowing. So we know that she's going to be fine, but she didn't play nowhere near the minutes that, she normally plays for us. And like I said, I think Aaliyah's been playing really well and, just emerging into that third offensive threat for us on the floor.
Up next, we'll go to John Sokoloff.
Hey, Nikki. How kind of mentally refreshing was it to be able to come into Gainesville after the Kentucky game Sunday and really just be able to take care of business? And I know obviously the coaches are going to say, yeah, right after the game, it's like wiped out, but how good does it feel kind of to be able to just wipe out that loss and rebound the way that y'all did?
I think for us, it's about, we needed to get better at the things we didn't do against the Kentucky. I mean, I think we gave Ryan Howard 25 of 31, points, and that can happen. And I thought that is something that we got to grow and we got to guard better. And I thought we guarded better. So I was really happy with that. I knew that if we rebounded and we guarded the ball, we put ourselves in a position to win this game. I thought we had a great size advantage with our length. And I thought we took advantage of that with Jess on the inside. But the things that we did well, it was very refreshing to see us do the things that we needed to get better at. So we just got to consistently improve in those things.
And speaking of Jess, I mean, what's your team's ceiling when you're able to kind of have the offense flow the way that, you want it to and get her the touches that you've been preaching all year that you want to get for her?
I think the ceiling is high for our team. I think Jess has to understand where she needs to get her confidence from, and that's inside, deep in the paint. We know she's finesse. Our staff is really trying to help her be both finesse and physical. We need power and finesse from her. And I think you guys are seeing that. It's not just dumps. She's actually having to score with someone between her and the basket now. And that's what we need. We make a very conscious effort to get her, Yamaya, and Sydney the ball when they're in there. And just need them to deliver, and we can play off them.
All right, guys, the last call for questions in the chat. Up next, we'll go to Ben Portnoy.
Nikki, not to harp on Jess again too much, but on a night like this, I mean, we've seen her do really big things in non-conference games. We've seen her kind of go up and down sometimes in SEC play, but for her to have the kind of game that she did tonight, what does that do for her, against an SEC team? And when you guys, I know you got a couple games between now and then, but when you've got, the Texas A&Ms and South Carolinas of the world coming up later this month.
This is just getting her ready for those games. She's got to be consistent every night. It doesn't matter who it is, whether it's Kentucky, Alabama, South Carolina. She's got to be a dominant force for us every night, her and Yamaya. It's really good to have that size and length and they play off of one another. It's really good to have that. I just want Jess to be consistent. Her and Rakia, they got to dominate in practice. I think Jess has been better in practice. Rakia still has to consistently dominate practice, and she's growing and she is doing that. I've challenged Rakia defensively, and she's doing much better. Both of them, and I like that. They're growing and they're just growing and evolving into better players.
And just quick follow-up, I know in terms of Jess, it seemed like she maybe settled for a few step backs, a few maybe faded away from the basket a little bit. I mean, how much is that something you're working on with her to try and get her going toward the hoop, and how much does she, is she taking to that?
Jess and I have a great relationship, and she told me, she's like, Coach, if I settle for my fadeaway, get me, and I got her. And I'm sure you probably heard me, but it's just part of what she's so used to doing, and I have to remind her, there's nobody that can guard you down low. You got to fight and get position. Just like a lot of the bigs in this league, we need Jess on the floor, and we need to get post players in foul trouble. And when post players are in foul trouble, that means she's getting deep in the paint.
Up next, we'll go to Tyler Horka.
Nikki, you mentioned Aaliyah becoming kind of a go-to option for you guys behind Rakia and Jess, obviously. I'm just curious what your ideal bench situation looks like in terms of scoring. Obviously, Aaliyah is going to lead the way, but in a perfect world, what does it look like behind her, and how much do you think you can get out of your bench on a nightly basis?
I think, Madison has proven that she can come in and be an intangible player and hit open shots. I think Zaria has proven that. Right now, I just got to figure out what our rotation is going to be, and that's going to change based off of what we see and what we need. Who we need to be out there to guard dribble penetration, who can guard in ball screens. It's all of that, but I do think we got a deep bench in terms of, being able to come in and give people breathers and be ready to rock and roll and not be a big dip, but we do lack experience in our bench, and I've said this before, we only have 4 players on our team that play quality minutes in this league. 3 of them are starters. 1 comes off the bench, is Zaria, who's only been with us for 2 days. So the people that are playing, the more they play, the more experience they're going to get, the better we're going to be. And I think we're going to be playing our best basketball in February.
And just a quick follow-up to that, along those lines, in games that Jess might be kind of game planned against by the opposition, Yamaya obviously got some minutes tonight. How do you think she looked, and what do you expect her to do in games that she might be called upon a little bit more?
Well, I think Yamaya is a big presence for us. It's just knowing the defensive schemes. She's had really, really good practices and being locked in and asking questions. And she came in and scored a big bucket. When Jess was going to her fade, I was able to get Yamaya in there. Yamaya still gave us a big present and was able to score for us. We missed her a couple of times, but, I think anytime we have Yamaya in there, we need to go right to her, because not often you don't see 6'6" with that size and that length. And our guards have to do a better job of getting them the ball.
All right, guys, that'll do us for today. Thank y'all.